morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Grace Manzie. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this pretty cold shoulder dress with bell sleeves, okay? So I'm going to be taking you step by step how I made this dress from my basic bodice pattern which I made from my previous videos, as well as referring to the half circle skirt which I made in the previous videos. So let's get sewing. So the first step I did was to cut out the dress using my basic bodice pattern, okay, which I've made earlier from my previous video. So, and also I've made it, extended the length to the length of my dress, okay. Right, I've made a few adjustments here, like the neckline. I've made it more or less like a V-neck, okay. And once I do the same on the front neckline, I have to adjust also on the back neckline, as you can see, so that it matches with the front neckline, okay. And I'm going to transfer the darts and join the seams like I showed you on the previous tutorial how to transfer the darts. So that's what I'm going to do now, okay. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the sleeve. And to cut out the sleeve, I have to make a sleeve pattern first. So I'm going to go through how I made the sleeve pattern and then cutting it out, okay. Now, to make the sleeve pattern, you need a calculator, in which case I'm going to use my phone. You need your tape measure, you need a straight ruler, two marker pens, because I'm going to show you the front and back armhole with the different colors. You also need a pair of scissors and of course your French curve. And I folded my pattern into half, as you can see, and made a horizontal line as a guide, okay. I folded and pinned it in place like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the sleeve length, okay. My sleeve length, which is going to be 3/4, is 16 inches. So I'm going to mark 16 inches from this line here, okay, like this, all the way. Okay, 16 inches is right here. I go ahead and draw a straight line. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is to calculate the cap sleeve. And to calculate that, I divide my bust measurement, which is 43 inches by 12, and add half an inch. So I'm going to get 4 inches, and then I'm going to mark 4 inches here. Okay, 4 inches from there. And then I make another straight line. Right, so to get this line here, you divide your bust measurement by 12 and add half an inch. So that is called the cap sleeve. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to use my basic bodice pattern, because I'm making my dress, and this I made according to my measurements. So I'm going to measure this line here on my basic bodice pattern, okay? And I get 8.5 inches, okay? 8.5 inches. Then I'm going to measure 8.5 inches from this corner of my first vertical horizontal line, 8.5 inches, okay, and make a slant. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark here where the 8.5 inches is, then use my straight ruler and draw a line. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do now is to find the middle of this line here, the center of this line here. So to do that, as before, what I normally do is just get onto the line like that, okay? Bring the tape measurement forward, backwards like that, okay? And fold it. So this is going to be the middle of the center of this line. So I mark there, okay? When I finished marking there, I'm going to go out 1/2 inch from that mark, okay, like so. Go out 1/2 inch and put a mark there. Now, to draw the back armhole line of the sleeve, I'm simply going to use my curve up to here and then a straight line to there, okay? So I get my curve ruler, right, like that. Then I draw a line here, as you can see, okay, right, and then I finish off using a straight ruler. Okay, now that's going to be my back armhole. So for the front armhole, I'm going to use a different color. Use your curved ruler and go in like that, okay? And then use the same curved ruler again and draw a line all the way to the right, like this, okay? Right, so there you have your front armhole and your back armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've measured the cuff or the circumference of where my 3/4 length sleeve is going to end, and it's 15 inches. So I'm going to divide 15 inches by 2 and I'm going to get 7.5, okay? 7.5 is here, right? So I'm going to mark on there. So after marking there, I'm going to go ahead and join it. By the way, here I'm going to add 1/2 inch for ease, okay? I'm not going to cut my sleeve from here. I'm going to add 1/2 inch for ease. So I mark 1/2 inch from there, okay? From there, 1/2 inch I mark there, okay? So I'm going to join these 2 dots. So there you go. You've got your sleeve done. So I'm going to cut it out. Cut out the back dimensions first before I can cut out the front armhole. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out. Okay, after cutting it out, the next thing is I'm going to open my sleeve, right, as you can see, and then I'm going to cut out the back dimensions from this side. Okay, like so. Right, like so. And this is going to be, okay, grain line. And then this is going to be the front. And that's going to be the back of my sleeve. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out my sleeves using this pattern. I have cut out the sleeves using my pattern, and I'm going to cut out the flare of the sleeve. As you can see, I've left just about half a centimeter of the seam allowance on the both edges because this fabric is very stretchy. Okay, now to cut out the flare, the same way I cut out the half circle skirt, I fold my fabric back, and it's 2 layers as you can see, right? And I've got 2 lines here, right? This is the circumference, that is the 15 inches I get when I measure the bottom, the edge of my sleeve here, okay? So that's my radius, and my flare is going to be 8 inches wide. So that's where I got this second line here, 8 inches from the radius. I'm going to cut 2 of these. Now, before I take off the pattern from the sleeves, I fold down 3 inches from the cap of my sleeve, like that, 3.5 inches. This is how deep I want the cold shoulder. You can make it as deep as you want. You can even go all the way down, right? You can go all the way down to 4 inches, but I want mine a bit up, okay? I don't want to expose too much. So once I folded it over like this, the next thing I'm going to do is cut out the cap, right? I'm going to pin there and cut off the cap of the sleeve. That's how you get a cold shoulder sleeve, okay? Okay, so I've joined my side seams, the darts in place, and the zip. As you can see, I've added the decorative trimming there on my neckline. And that's the back with the zip on and the darts. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is the sleeves. Fold a 1 centimeter hem at the cap of the sleeve. So after doing the hem at the cap of the sleeve here, the next thing I'm going to do is to make the seam right there, and don't forget to mark which is the front armhole or back, because they almost look the same. So that's what I'm going to do next. The next thing I did was join the flounce there, and then put a hem, 1 centimeter hem around it, and I'm going to join it to the sleeve like that, okay? And I'm going to open the seams, right? And then join it. Okay, it fits perfectly, as you can see. Okay, the next thing I did was just join the sleeve to the armhole, matching the front and the back armholes. The last thing I'm going to do make a 1 centimeter hem around the armhole. Now the left armhole and sleeve is done. The next thing now I'm going to do is do the same thing to the right armhole, and it's perfect, as you can see. When I've done doing that right side, the last thing I'll do is just do a 1 centimeter hem on my dress, and I'll show you when the dress is done. So that's my dress done. I'm going to try it on.